This set of lesson is about hydroelectricity. So as the word might give you a hint, hydro has to do with water, and we're trying to generate electricity. So one of my favorite examples is how humans are so amazing with our technological developments that we were able to take the Grand Canyon like this and the Colorado River and say, hey, boy, wouldn't that be neat if we could turn that into electricity as a source of energy. So this little river can't really do much. But what humans decided to do was, and I watched a documentary on it, they poked a hole in the side of the Grand Canyon here and here and rerouted the river so that they could build the Hoover Dam. Okay, so that's one of the biggest ones that I'm aware of, and it's close to Las Vegas. I'll show you a picture in a minute. And so this huge dam is very, very strong. It's holding back the weight of all this water, okay, which is not great for fish or wildlife. So in our notes that I'm putting here, well, first of all, you need to have a water source. Okay, so if you are, because it's flooding behind you, things like fish. Okay, so let's pretend you are a fish and you want to swim upriver to lay your eggs. Well, now you can't. Okay, so that might not be such an issue for the Colorado River, but definitely for some of the rivers in places like BC, you would need to be able to do that if you're a fish. Okay, this is the backside of that same Hoover Dam. Okay, so you have this nice reservoir of water. Okay, there's another picture. And this is roughly where it is in the United States. Okay, it's just a little bit north of California. Okay, I think in Nevada or whatever state that is. Okay, so Las Vegas is very famous for all its lights and concerts, and you need a lot of electricity to power everything there, and for a lot of big cities. So the Hoover Dam is one of the main sources for the electricity there. However, you do need to build power lines. Okay, you need electrical cables to make sure you get the water from the electricity from where it's being generated at the Hoover Dam all the way to Las Vegas. And that's true for all our sources of energy, that we have to get them from where they're generated to where we need that electricity to be. Okay, so usually the cities is where we need most electricity. Okay. Often people in the East Coast and BC will say, oh, Alberta, you're really bad at polluting the environment. You guys use mostly oil and gas. Well, yeah, because that's what we have available, right? BC has access to a lot of hydroelectric power generation. Same thing with Ontario, Manitoba, okay, a little bit in Saskatchewan, but Quebec for sure, lots in Quebec. And we just can't do that as much here. Okay. So this is the Calgary one. So we do have a few dams, one being the Glenmore Reservoir, which is right by our school. Okay, and so some people drive over this road every day like me. And so some of the benefits to having a big dam is that you can sometimes use that reservoir of water, so the lake behind it we call a reservoir. You can use that for drinking water. You can use that to help make sure there's the floods aren't as bad, right? To only let some of the water downstream and try not to have as drastic of floods. And also you can use that water for recreation. Okay, like you can go stand-up paddleboarding, I think. You can sail boats. There's the Heritage Park old steam wheeler boat. Okay, there's people rowing. That's Heritage Park there. Okay, and there's another picture of the reservoir. Okay, and there's a shot of downtown. Okay, pretty nice pictures of our local hydroelectricity formation. Whew, that's loud. Should push mute. There we go. Okay, so we don't necessarily need to build a great big dam. We could instead have a whole bunch of these little electricity generators. So just like people used to use in the olden days with those wheels that would spin to grind wheat in a mill, for example, you could just use the power of a river, okay, with those little blades, or the oceans, and we would be able to get a lot of electricity from it. So why not? Why aren't we doing it? Is my next question. Maybe that's what you can do when you grow up. Sorry, I should make that bigger for you. Okay, let me just show the little fishy. Okay, so in a lot of these examples, you're going to see water or nuclear energy, or to boil water for steam. You're going to have a turbine that is spinning to make electricity. Okay, and in our How Hydroelectricity Works video, it's too big.
Today, hydroelectricity produces approximately 24% of the world's electrical energy. In this,
I really like these kinds of charts. Okay, they do tend to miss certain types of energy, like you'll see nuclear is not on here. And biomass has to do with burning coal and oil and natural gas. But really they should be just talking about wood, burning wood. Okay, not a lot of solar, not a lot of geothermal. We'll talk about why later. And we're getting better at harnessing some wind power, but not as much as we could.
we will learn how hydroelectricity is produced. The 6 main components of hydropower plants are: former. Dams are built to hold back water, which means a large water reservoir. As the gates are opened, a small opening of a large reservoir builds very high water pressure as it flows through the penstock. Penstock is a pipeline that leads to the turbine. It is designed in such a way that the gravitational force pulls the water down to the turbine, which produces kinetic energy. Turbines consist of large fan blades and a spindle. The spindle rotates when the water strikes the blades, thus converting kinetic energy to mechanical energy. On the top, there's an exciter, which gets small DC power. Below the exciter is the generator. The working of an AC generator depends on electromagnetic induction.
Okay, so now they're going to get a little technical exactly about how the turbine generates electricity. So when we talk about motors, we'll understand this a bit better. Basically, you can either take mechanical energy and turn it into electrical energy, or the other way around. Okay, so you either have a generator or a motor.
That feel to each other. As the rotor spins within the stator, each pole's magnetic field acts on the stator winding. Each time one pole completes one full revolution, a pulse of AC power is generated on the windings and transmitted to the grid by conductors attached to the stator.
Okay, when they say grid, they mean the electrical power grid. So we need to get the electricity from where it's produced through the power lines to the cities. Okay, and what we have is called the grid.
And has transformers, which converts AC power to AC higher voltage current. And bingo! There's the light. The hydrologic cycle is important to hydropower plants.
Okay, so what they're getting at here is just if there's no water, then you have no hydro, right? So in our picture that we saw earlier with Alberta, we don't have a whole bunch of readily available water everywhere in the province, right? It's a lot drier here. And really, whenever somebody has a source that is easier to access, we'll do that instead. So if you have a whole pile of coal sitting right next door, and that's cheaper and easier to get, even if it's not as good for the environment, we tend to choose that. Okay. So going back to our notes on hydroelectricity, okay, we have the fact that you need a water source. Okay, it's either a good thing or a bad thing depending on where you live. Okay, fish can't pass the dam. You can have drinking water. And most importantly, this is how it works. Okay, the water falls, turns a turbine, which generates electricity. Okay, moving on to the next one.